Salt Lake, round 4. West Coast. West Coast dudes are gnarly. West Coast dudes are gnarly. The depth of the West Coast riders seems way deeper than the East Coast riders. It seems like there's a lot more dudes that could win on any given night. With East Coast, it pretty much only seems like McElrath or Sexton can win. But with these guys, Ferrandis could win, Forkner could win, Cooper could win, Jet Lawrence could win, and now McAdoo could win. Yeah, the depth, it just seems like it's way deeper. The track, though, held up really good, actually. It started to break down quite a bit at the end of the 450 moto, but for the 250s, it looked fine. It seemed really hard to pass, and I think that might be why. Seemed like everybody was just going really fast, and you couldn't really make a pass unless you really pushed the envelope and were really aggressive, or you just kind of waited for the dude in front of you to make a mistake. Seemed like the only place where you could actually try to set up a pass was the left-hander after the finish. You could go into the right-hander before it in the opposite line of the guy in front of you. So if the guy in front of you tries to square up and stay to the right, then you could go to the left and you could try to block pass him after the finish. Or if the dude in front of you stayed left, then you could square it up, go right, go over the finish, and then depending on what the guy in front of you did, you could either square up to the inside of him, or if they try to block you, you could also square up to the inside of him. Or if they didn't block you enough, then you could just go around the outside. It seemed like the only place you could actually consistently try to make a pass. I don't know. The rhythms were cool, though. There was a lot of different rhythms you could do, especially the 250 guys. After the triple, seemed like 3 different ways you could go through it. The one after the whoops, seemed like most of the 250 guys were doing the same rhythm, but the 450 guys were able to kind of switch it up from each other. So overall, I thought the track was cool. It was super fast, like super fast. Reminded me of the second Salt Lake round. So maybe they brought the bike setup from that one. So in the 250 class, I saw Hunter Lawrence on the outside, and I was like, it's going to happen again. He's going to get the whole shot. And he got a decent... No, he didn't get a good start. He really didn't get a good start. So having the factory guys on the outside to get your elbows in front of the privateers didn't really work for him. So that's 1 out of like 4 or 5 times this season that it hasn't worked. And I think that this race is a race that Hunter Lawrence was hoping was not going to be his Supercross debut because it wasn't that good. I think it's one he wants to forget. It was Forkner in the lead, and McAdoo was in second for just a tiny bit, and then Cooper got into second, Justin Cooper. And then Ferrandis was back a little bit, but then got his way into 4th pretty quickly. But McAdoo, I think he had the ride of the night tonight, for sure. He stepped it up so much over this break. It's insane. Wasn't he like a replacement rider for the past couple years? He like didn't even have a ride, so he rode for Geico and then rode for Pro Circuit as a replacement rider. He didn't ride like a replacement rider tonight. That is for sure. He stepped it up big time. I'm guessing he surprised everybody. Justin Cooper didn't really show up tonight like he should have. He's in this championship chase, and he couldn't keep up with Ferrandis or Forkner at all. So he's got to go back to the drawing boards, figure out what was going on with that, because I don't think that's the night he wanted either. He just didn't seem like his normal aggressive self. I mean, I guess he doesn't ever really ride that aggressively. He's pretty dang smooth when he rides, but tonight he just didn't seem like he had the aggression. He was just kind of riding around. So he needs to figure that one out. And then Ferrandis and Forkner. There was a race. I can't remember which one it was, but it was kind of this same deal. Forkner was faster everywhere on the track. Maybe not faster, but he was like a tiny bit faster than Ferrandis everywhere, if not the same, except for the whoops. He would consistently lose like a quarter second to a half second in the whoops. And then he would make up just a tiny bit of time everywhere else, and then he would lose a quarter second to a half second in the whoops. It was almost every single lap, unless Ferrandis made a mistake in the whoops, which his riding style, he's either going to go through the whoops insanely fast or not. Kind of like Tomac, where they're bulldogs. That's what I like to say. They like to manhandle the bike, especially through the whoops, where somebody like Forkner, Roczen, Webb even, it's all about technique and trying to not do too much on top of the bike to make it unsettle. They just try to hit every single whoop perfect try to stay on top, and not do too much body English into the bike. Does that make any sense? Where Tomac and Ferrandis, they're going to manhandle the bike to get it to go through the whoops as fast as they can. So sometimes they go through it super fast, and other times the bike is going to unsettle because they're doing so much body English into the bike, then they're going to mess up and go slow. I hope that made sense. That's the difference between Forkner and Ferrandis in the whoops. It seemed like 2, maybe 3 laps Forkner was faster in the whoops than Ferrandis. But other than that, Dylan was pretty consistently faster. But Austin was faster everywhere else, or at least the same. And he had a big enough lead where it didn't matter. And he said on the last lap that he just went for it, and you can actually see in the times, because luckily the segment times for that segment it looked like it was right after the corner when they hit the first jump into the rhythm after the whoops. Seemed like where the segment stopped, so you could really see if they were losing time in that segment. In that segment, it was pretty much just the whoops. So luckily, it was pretty easy to keep track of how slow Forkner was in the whoops, except for the last lap when he made up 0.6 seconds or something like that. Forkner, though, is super smooth. It is kind of the same as like a Cooper Webb and Roczen versus Tomac with Forkner and Ferrandis, where Webb and Roczen are super smooth and Ferrandis and Tomac are really aggressive, like to manhandle the bike. They look like they're going faster, but sometimes they're not. In this instance, Forkner was super smooth and he was faster pretty much everywhere except for the whoops. As long as he can get a decent lead over Ferrandis, by the time Ferrandis gets into second, or just whenever Ferrandis is in second, then he can maintain that lead pretty easily. But if Ferrandis is right on him, then Ferrandis is going to pass him in the whoops and win. Forkner, still his weak spot is the whoops. He's 10 points behind? Oh, I should really look this stuff up before I make a video. Yeah, so now he's 10 points behind with only 2 rounds to go. So if he wins both of these, he's going to need Ferrandis to be in third? No, it is 5 points. I just got really confused. From first to third. First gets 26, third gets 21. That's 5 points. So, actually, Forkner could win this pretty easily if he just wins the last 2 rounds and hopes that somebody is in between him and Ferrandis. He could win this, actually. Which, with the last round being a shootout, things could be interesting. If Forkner wins and Sexton and McElrath are second and third, Cooper gets fourth, McAdoo gets fifth, and Ferrandis gets sixth. So this championship is plenty alive. Ferrandis is in first, so like always, it is his championship to lose. And if he keeps getting crap starts, especially in the shootout, he might just hand this thing over to Forkner. All right, 450s. So with the whole being a factory bike in the middle of privateers to get your elbows in front of the dudes next to you, it seems like if in these last few rounds that we've had, if Osborne is next to you, you're going to get a bad start because he's going to get his elbows in front of yours pretty easily because he's a tiny dude and he's been killing the jump out of the gate and just been killing his starts. So I know Tomac got a gate pick before Osborne, but if you get a gate pick after Osborne, don't line up next to him. Just don't do it because you're going to get a bad start because he's going to cut you off. He's going to get his elbows in front of you. And yeah, you don't want that. And Tomac showed why you don't want that. He was almost last in the first corner. Did Osborne? Osborne got the whole shot, or at least was up there. Cooper was, no, Roczen got the whole shot. Roczen got the whole shot, but then Cooper Webb, I have to say Cooper Webb and Justin Cooper. I can't just say Cooper anymore. Webb got into the lead pretty much instantly. Roczen was in second. Osborne was in third right away. Man. Yeah, so Osborne was in third, going over the finish first lap. Baggett was in fourth. And freaking Reed was in fifth. That was sick. What place did Reed end up actually getting? I didn't even see. Because that was really cool seeing him up front. I enjoyed that. He got 11th. 5, 2, 5, 4, 6, 9, 12. Yeah. So that was Reed's best result this season. So that was cool. I like that. And then it was Roczen and Webb battling it out in the front, going super fast, which is such a bummer that Roczen is this fast, but he just can't hang. Halfway through the main, he just, whatever his issue is, he said he had another viral flare-up, which, man, with his arm, his body can't ever be 100%. Like, I know it's an arm, but your body, it all works together. And if one thing is as jacked up as it is, then your whole body's going to be jacked up, at least for a long time. And I don't think he's anywhere near 100% with the whole system. With being cut open that many times and having that kind of a trauma, it's gonna take forever. It'll never be the same. I think he's just gonna keep getting sick because of that, and that is super unfortunate. I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure he's been working with the top doctors in the world trying to figure out how to get him back to normal and quit getting sick, because wasn't he sick in outdoors too? Probably got mono or Epstein-Barr or something, I'm sure, that just keeps flaring up and won't go away. I don't know, put him in a hyperbaric chamber, get his body pumped full of oxygen, heal itself. I don't know. But it is a bummer to see because he is so freaking fast. This track was so fast. I'm so glad that nobody got hurt. Barsha wadded himself, not quite sure. I hope there's a video that comes out of that because his bike was jacked. How was his front wheel looked like the axle broke, and I don't even know what was hanging on. So he wadded, but it seemed like everybody else got out okay with the track being as fast as it was. But yeah, halfway through, Roczen really, really, really fell off the pace, and Webb had a super comfortable lead. And then the first half, Tomac was charging his way through. I think it's pretty fair to say that no matter what kind of start Eli gets, that he can get into the top 5 pretty easily. It's just he's that much faster than everybody. And you could probably argue that no matter what kind of start he gets, he can still get a podium like he did today. I mean, bar a mechanical issue or him crashing and getting injured, knock on wood, don't want that to happen, he's going to win this championship pretty easily. He's 27 points ahead with 3 rounds left. Something crazy is going to have to happen for him to not win this championship, because the way he can make it through the pack, even with a track like this where it's not easy to pass. I mean, he's in the heat, he sat behind Davalos for a long time, and even in the main, he sat behind Davalos for a long time and still got a podium. So he's going to be fine. He's going to win this pretty easily. It did seem like when he got, I could be wrong, I looked at lap times and I couldn't really see anything, but it kind of seemed like once he got into 5th, like Sexton a couple weeks ago, that once you get that clear track, you kind of sometimes lose that aggression. And seemed like for a few laps, just looking at the times on the side, Tomac might have that happened to him, maybe. But then once he was able to seabag it, then he got back into that mode and closed the gap pretty dang quickly. I mean, they both got past Roczen, like, no problem. Roczen didn't put up a fight, that's for sure. And then he got up to Baggett, and it was taking him a little bit to actually pass Baggett. And then how did he pass him? I don't even remember how he passed. But I do remember that Baggett put up some kind of a fight, which was nice to see after he got past. They were talking about Baggett's hands going numb, probably from arm pump. Maybe he didn't actually get arm pump this time. And that's good. He got a 4th. That's awesome. Oh, no, that's not his best finish. He's gotten a podium. It's his 2nd best finish. And then Osborne, he's finally, seems like he's back to his old self, which is awesome. The beginning of this season was not going good for him. What place is he in the championship? He's in 8th. Yeah, he had some not very good rounds. So it's cool to see him back to his 250 self, it seems like, when he was just super gnarly and could just win no matter what. Maybe he's finally getting comfortable on a 450, and outdoors he could be just super sick, and then next year in Supercross he could be super sick. It's cool to see him back up front. Like I've said in previous videos, I like it when people just go fast because it means that more people can win and we can have more battles, which I'm always down with. But today, Webb was by himself. Roczen was there for a little bit, but then he wasn't. And then Webb himself even said that it was pretty dang nice having a lead at the end and not having to worry about battling somebody and just being able to enjoy leading a race. I haven't led a race in who knows how long. If I was leading a race comfortably tomorrow, I'd be so stoked. So yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure that was fun. It seems fun. 45.5. So actually Roczen was the fastest on the night. That's interesting. But Webb was still faster than Tomac, which I'm sure this was all at the beginning of the race because the track broke down pretty quickly. So Tomac put that lap time down in traffic, I'm guessing. Actually, we can look. Yeah, he put it down on the 6th lap. So I don't think he was up into 5th by the 6th lap, but I could be wrong. Yeah, that was the race. Webb killed everybody. Osborne stepped it up again. Sunday, maybe he'll win because he's got to keep that progression going. Tomac, terrible start, but got his way into the front pretty easily. Did I say Roczen, terrible night? Barsha wadded himself. Anderson wasn't up front this time. And Baggett stepped it up, got his second best result of the season so far. And now we only have 3 more. Okay, my camera just died, and I got to do this quick or else it's going to die again. I think I was saying the 450 guys, I think I was saying they have 3 rounds to do something. I don't know. Dude, I don't even know. There's 3 rounds left for the 450 guys to do something. I think that's what I was going to say. And there's 2 rounds left for each of the 250 West Coast, East Coast to also do something. 3 rounds. That's it. We're almost done with Supercross. And then we go to outdoors, which I won't be doing this because I will hopefully be racing most of them. I ain't going to do this. So, sorry, but I'm not going to do this for outdoors. Yep, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm still working on my 1,000 subscriber video. This is taking way longer than I was expecting it to. Like I said in my last video, if you want your name on my bike, which I will be racing at outdoors this year, you just have to make sure your subscription is public by Sunday. And then I will be able to see your name, and then I will be able to put it on my bike. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, so that's it. Bye.